Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another fun fold card with this awesome donut design. Hey guys, it's LJ. Thank you for coming back and joining my channel today. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. Today I'm going to be making a birthday card with a difference. Another one of my fun fold cards. So I hope you enjoy. So our base for our card is 12 by 5.5. So I have this brown piece, which is 12 by 5.5. I'm going to start off by doing some scoring. So on this piece that is on the 12-inch side, we're going to score at 2 7/8. You're going to score at 5 3/4. You're going to score at 8 5/8, and then we're going to score at 11.5. So 2 7/8, 5 3/4, 8 5/8, 11.5. And then this will stick together to form the basis for our card. So that is our centerpiece. Then you're going to need some mats and layers. So for the back piece, you're going to need a piece that is 5.5 by 5.5 for your mat, and then a layer to go on top, which is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So that's those there. Cut ready. You're then going to need the same for the front, but we're going to cut some apertures out of them. So here is the 5.5 by 5.5, and I have cut out this circle from it using one of my dies. And then the same with the 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and I've done it the wrong way round. Okay, so from our long 5 1/4 by 12 piece, in the centre here I have cut, using one of my dies, a little circle aperture. And I've used a set of nesting dies. So this central circle is the smallest die. Then the red 5 1/8 by 5.5 mat is going to sit there. Is with our next size die, and then our patterned piece, which is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, which does have a bigger gap, but those are the dies that I have. I don't have one in between these two sizes. So there is our crap, I do have one in between those sizes. Where is it? Now this piece was cut from this die, which is 2 pieces larger, but I have misplaced the circle in the centre of those two. But I still wanted to use circles because it's the donut paper. I felt that the circle shape was appropriate, and there's going to be a donut in the centre here. So for me, that works well. And then you also need another 5.5 by 5.5 piece, and because this is going to be covered, I have cut a circle out of that just to save some paper, and then a 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 piece over the top. So those are our mats and layers for this card. So we are going to notch these. Couldn't find my scissors then. We're going to notch the flap. Just notch it down so that we are cutting off a corner, like so. Now you can either cut it here or here, it's totally up to you. I've cut it there because I'm going to hide this flap, but you could hide it at the side, so you can either cut your aperture from here or from here. It is totally up to you. First step is we're going to need to pop this on here, figure out the nice placement of it, like so, and mark where we're going to need to score. So here to here, and then the same with this. Keep that lined up nicely. Pop this sheet on nicely, like so. Let's score those lines. Okie dokie, so we're going to score the mats and layers, and we're going to fold them. I then got a piece of acetate out, which I cut down to a 1/2 inch strip. You can do wider or thinner, I just like 1/2 inch strips, I think they work really well. And then once I've cut that, I'm going to score it and fold it down the middle. Now acetate doesn't like being bent, so this does take a little bit of force. So you will need to do your score line and then really squeeze it together, because acetate doesn't like holding a score line. But it will do it. You've just got to export your will over it. You know, you've got to let it know who's boss. So I've done that. I'm then going to put tape on the back of all the mats and layers, the same as I would for any other cards. Just I do round the 4 edges, so I can peel back my corners. And I do stick these on even though they are folded in exactly the same way. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to stick tape on the back of all of the mats and all of the layers, and we're also going to put it on the little 1/2 inch strip that we've got on the base, my brown piece. So I just wanted to say hi to everybody. How are you all doing? I hope you're all keeping well. I am now officially out of shielding, which is a bit of a scary situation for me personally. How are you finding things going back to quote unquote normal? I'm a bit nervous, but that's just because I'm immunocompromised. I'm not, it's not quite the same for everybody else. Thank you very much to all my subscribers who have come back to watch today. If you are new, I really appreciate you too. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do papercraft videos on a Monday and resin videos on a Friday, and then I do have extra videos that pop in here and there. So I'm just adding these on. So I've put the tape on. I'm also putting some of my Kalau glue just so that it can give it a little bit of a move once it's stuck on, just so that I can adjust it to make sure it is all lined up nicely. Because these are scored, it is really important that you get them lined up correctly. Of course you could stick them together and then score it and fold it. It is totally up to you. I just do it this way. So I said about the aperture being in the wrong place for me. As you're going to see here, what I had to do was peel off half of the tape and cover half of that back panel with glue and stick that onto one of the pieces. Then I had to sort out the 1/2 inch flap, and then I had to stick the other half on. If you put the aperture in the other position that I showed you, you can just stick these on completely flat, because you'll have two scored rectangles together, so you can stick this on carefully before you close the box. So please do as I say, not as I do, because I messed it up. Okay, so I have placed this together now. So I stuck the acetate strip on the inside. I did the red layer and the back piece. I did the front layer, the red layer. I stamped and cut out this happy birthday with sprinkles on top. I stamped and cut out this donut on the front, which sits in the window and floats. And yeah, that is just lovely. I really like that. And we've got a little panel on the back for sentiment, and this will fold flat and go into a 6x6 envelope. Basically it is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 square, so it will go into a 6x6 envelope. You can fold it either way, that way or that way. I absolutely love it. So yeah, thank you very much for spending time with me today, guys. Keep crafting, and I will see you soon. Bye.